I sold the house last month. The house where we raised our kids. The house where we had our last Christmas together. The house where my wife, Sharon, died in our bedroom. And I didn't tell my children. Not until the papers were signed. Not until the "for sale" sign had been pulled from the yard. It was my name on the deed. I paid every mortgage bill for 25 years. I fixed the leaking roof, replaced the water heater, and painted the walls with my own hands. And still, when my kids found out, you'd have thought I had set the house on fire. Let me go back to the beginning. Sharon and I were married for 38 years. She was my high school sweetheart. I proposed to her under a sycamore tree when we were both barely 20. She said yes, and we never looked back. We built a life. 2 kids, 3 dogs over the years, a lemon tree in the backyard that never produced fruit, a shelf full of cookbooks she rarely used but refused to throw away. She was soft, she was patient, and when I got gruff or tired, she'd put a hand on my shoulder and I'd remember how lucky I was. Then came the diagnosis, pancreatic cancer. They called it advanced. 6 months later, they called it terminal. 6 months after that, I was holding her hand when she took her last breath. She passed in our bedroom. Peacefully, they said, as if anything about dying in your early 60s can be peaceful. After the funeral, everything blurred. People brought casseroles, then stopped calling. I got thank you notes mixed in with hospice bills. The house got quiet in a way I never thought possible. I left her slippers by the bed for weeks. I couldn't move them. They still held the shape of her heels. I sat at the edge of our bed every night for 2 months, just existing. I stared at walls. I talked to no one. I couldn't bring myself to even turn the radio on. And our kids? They were grieving too, but they had families, jobs, responsibilities. My daughter sent texts. My son called every Sunday, but none of them came to sit with me in that house. None of them heard how every door creaked like a ghost. None of them walked into the kitchen and collapsed over a cereal box. They mourned her absence. I mourned her presence. At first, I thought I'd stay, that it was my duty to preserve what she left behind. But one night I walked into the laundry room and found myself sobbing over a bottle of her fabric softener. It wasn't the grief anymore. It was the house. It was a living memory I could never outrun. So I made the decision quietly. I called a realtor. I didn't ask the kids. I knew they'd protest. They'd tell me to wait, to think it over, to honor her legacy, but I was drowning. And I didn't need legacy. I needed oxygen. The realtor was kind. She'd known Sharon from the PTA. When she walked through the house, she stopped in the kitchen and said, "It still smells like her." I almost called the whole thing off, but I didn't, because I knew if I hesitated, I'd never do it. And I needed to go. The house sold in 5 days, to a couple in their early 30s expecting their first child. When they walked in, the woman rubbed her belly and said, "This place feels like home." That was the sign I needed. I signed the papers, packed a few boxes, left Sharon's favorite books in the den bookshelf. It felt wrong to take them, gave away the furniture, donated the dishes, and moved out. I didn't tell the kids until I'd already left. I didn't do it to be cruel. I did it because I couldn't survive their emotions on top of my own. My daughter cried. She asked why I didn't wait for her to collect things. She said I robbed her of a last moment with the house, her childhood, her mother's space. My son was livid. He told me I was selfish, said Sharon would be ashamed, said I destroyed the only place that still felt like her. And maybe they're right. Maybe I was selfish. Maybe I acted without considering how they'd feel. But I'd lived in that house for 15 months without her. And every day I died a little more inside. No one came to help me. No one sat in her recliner and told me it was okay to leave it behind. No one offered to clear out her closet or go through her jewelry. They expected me to live in a shrine. But I was never wired for that. They talk about the house like it was her. But it wasn't. Sharon was the music in that kitchen, the humming in the garden, the smell of fresh laundry and vanilla lotion. She was the hand on my back and the voice at the end of every long day. She was not brick, not drywall, not roof tiles and leaking faucets. After she died, I stayed. And for over a year, I lived with the shadows of a life that no longer existed. I did it for them. I did it because I thought it was expected. I did it because I didn't know what else to do, but I couldn't do it forever. So I moved into a one-bedroom apartment, smaller, simpler, mine. The walls are bare. The fridge is mostly empty. There's no smell of lotion or casserole or cinnamon. But there's silence, and sometimes silence is mercy. The kids still call, but they don't visit. There's a distance now, like I've committed some irreversible betrayal, like I chose myself over Sharon. But that's the thing. She's not here to choose anymore, and I can't keep choosing pain in her honor. I didn't sell her. I sold a house. And I left before that house swallowed me whole. So I ask you, was I wrong to let go of bricks that felt like anchors? Was I wrong to find peace where others only saw memories? Was I wrong to move forward instead of living in a place where every corner whispered her name? Let me know. Pick a side, right or so wrong.